Anthony Hartwig here with a United softball player profile, and man, we're joined by someone who has had a fantastic career at United, Tori Firth. Tori, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, first things first, let's talk about these records that you're going to be leaving United with. Um, I think you had a great career. I mean, here are the numbers: season records for home runs with 10, RBIs with 47, career records with 24, 24 home runs, 120 RBI, and you also have now the United record for average in a career, hitting 550 in your whole career at United. I mean, when you hear all that, and obviously you reflect on your career, my first question is, what kind of things do you treasure the most in your United softball career?
Mainly all the time that my coaches and my parents and obviously my friends have put in. A lot of those records I couldn't have been done without them. We worked a lot, made a lot of memories, and put just a lot of work into everything.
One of the things I know about you, because we've interviewed you before, the records don't mean as much as the team, and that's one of the things that I think makes you a great leader. But let's just talk about it for a minute. All those records, which one are you kind of the most proud of? Do you think that you put the most work into?
As a team, I definitely think like the RBIs because I can hit great all the time, but if I don't have those runners on base, I don't get those RBIs.
When you hear a career average of 550, it means that you've had a consistent approach at the plate. What do you think has let you be so consistent at the plate, and what kind of mindset does it take to be that consistent?
We talk all the time about softball as a game of failure. You're typically going to fail more times than you succeed. So just knowing that batting above 500, I was loose and got victorious most of the time.
You're one of the players that breaks that mold because you were victorious more times than you failed with that 550 average. But I'm sure there were still signs of adversity throughout your career. What do you think are some of the ways that you've handled adversity and those hills and valleys that softball can definitely take you on?
Knowing that I have a good field of teammates behind me really helps in those times. And Coach Matt always talks really well about keep on the valleys, like stay in the divots as short as possible and then ride the peaks as long as possible.
Last year when we talked to you, you still had a time left in this United program. But now here you are, where we're finishing your senior season. What is some of your takeaways from this year of the softball team, and what do you think was different from your perspective about this year compared to last year?
Last year we had big goals. We tried so hard to get them and then we got them and then it was almost like we didn't know what came next. And this year we had bigger goals than last year and unfortunately we didn't get them. But the biggest takeaway this year would be the fact that these girls I wouldn't have wanted anybody else out there with me.
I know we joked about your average and you succeeded more than you failed, but talk about the experience of setting bigger goals like you did this year and then not getting them, and how the team was able to just cope with that. Not obviously not let it take their heads down. They never stopped playing after you didn't win the EOAC. You still went in and you still played hard after that. And you gave Columbiana a heck of a game in the tournament. So, what were some of the things that this team did after maybe they didn't reach the goals that they really wanted to do, which is something that's just going to happen in the sport?
When we set goals, we worked so hard to reach them. And then because it is a game of failure, you're not always going to succeed. And once things are done and over with, that's all you can do is learn and move on and try to do it better next year.
All right, so you learn and you move on. What is one, or what are a couple of things, I guess I could say, that you learned about yourself this season, and yourself as a softball player, yourself as a person?
On the field, I learned that I am a lot mentally stronger than I think I am. There were definitely times that I had doubts within myself, and the team behind me really helped me to break past those barriers.
What do you think are some of the big factors of that mental strength that you just brought up, and the ability to be so mentally strong out on the field?
It comes a lot from like the coaches that have helped me, we train that a lot when I go to pitching lessons. Crystal O'Brien, her daughter pitches for McDonald. She is my pitching coach, and we talk all the time about when to throw things. When you get ahead in the count, you can throw this here, but when you're not ahead in the count, you have to make sure that you don't throw it as far.
Let's talk about your mindset in the circle this year. Obviously, last year you had such a successful season inside the EOAC. This year you come in, everyone knows your name, everyone kind of knows what you're bringing. There's no secrets, especially in the league. How do you handle making the counter adjustments to some of these hitters and their adjustments to seeing you maybe for the fourth or fifth time this year compared to last year?
This year, we really worked on the fact that while I'm in that circle and we're on the field, that we are the team that is going to do this. We tried really hard to make sure that there were no doubts in our mind while we were out there.
What kind of things did you work on the most as a pitcher this year? Was it developing a new pitch, raising velocity? What were some of the things that you really wanted to improve on this year when you were working in the off season and then obviously throughout the year?
Throughout the off season, we worked on trying to add another pitch in. Throughout high school, I was not comfortable enough to throw that all the time, but because we've worked on that, my velocity did go up a couple miles an hour.
Give people some inside like scoops because I don't think people understand like how hard it is to just add a new pitch and develop a new pitch. Like what kind of things go into saying, okay, this is kind of a pitch I want to start to develop, and then all the work that goes into getting it to a point where you're comfortable enough with it to throw it in big situations.
The first thing you have to do is figure out how you want your spin to look, and then after that, you have to slowly add it in, and then it can take months to figure out exactly where you want that to go.
What pitch do you have right now that you would feel that you had mastered that you think took the most work to get and the most work to kind of get to where it's at right now?
I would definitely say my curveball. We just recently added that in after I had shoulder surgery my freshman year.
What was that like? Shoulder surgery freshman year, having to come back from that. Obviously, as a pitcher, shoulder is so important, and I'm sure a lot of pitchers maybe don't come back from a spot like that. What did it take to come back from that and be able to get back stronger?
It took a long year of rehab. I had went to therapy for 11 and a half months after that, and I was meeting all my benchmarks early, but it was just so frustrating not to be able to move on because they didn't want to take it too fast.
Now, Tori, there are a lot of people that would go through 11 months of therapy and rehab and just say, you know what, I'm just not going to be the same player I was. Forget about it. It's not for me. Not tough enough to get through it. What gave you that drive to say, I am going to get through this therapy. I'm going to be the player I was. I'm going to be better than the player I was. What kind of things gave you that just that grit to get through to get through that?
Just mainly the mentality that this was the sport that I loved most. It's the only sport I play. I play it all year round. If I couldn't play softball, I don't know what I would do.
Talking about the sport like that, you gotta love it, right? So, what are some of the things that made you fall in love with the sport of softball?
Coach Matt, who is my high school coach now, was originally the first coach that I had ever had in the actual world of softball. He and his wife, and a couple other assistant coaches too, really helped to instill a love for the game before a love for winning.
Now that you're in your second year with him as the head coach here at United, how much have you seen him do that to your teammates, and maybe some of your teammates fall in love more with the sport of softball because you see him do what he did for you now for your teammates?
We work really hard even after the losses that we took this season, that we reflected on the fact that we still had fun. We might not have won on the score, but we won with our hearts.
Next year, when we ask some of the new leaders of this team what they took away from being your teammate, what do you think? What do you hope their answer would be?
I just hope that they take away drive and determination. That if they're not in a spot that they want on the field, they are gonna have to put work in, and they can beat anybody out if they try.
Let's talk about some of your future plans for people that didn't catch it or maybe didn't know where are you going in the next 4 years. What are some of your future plans after high school?
I am going to attend Hiram College. I will be playing softball there and majoring in nursing.
When you think about Hiram and the recruiting process, and obviously you probably had some other schools that you visited, what was it about Hiram that made it like feel like home and made you want to go to this school?
When I went on my official visit there, Coach Collins did a really nice job of helping show me around campus, and assistant coach Paul Gray too. And when I met the team, I just gelled with them. They were people that I definitely could see myself being around, and I just fell in love.
You're going to be joining fellow YSN member Hannah Heath, who's also making the trip to Hiram softball. What's it mean to you that you're going to a program with people that are also coming from your area, so you'll be able to kind of have that, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're both from Northeast Ohio. We can show them how we do it up here. What's that like for you?
It's really fun. Hannah and I actually are currently on the same travel ball team too. So it's and we played on one of our first travel teams together too. So we're teammates for life.
Great connections there. And as we go into more questions about connections and travel ball, what has that done for you? Obviously, high school is great, and you made a lot of friends in high school and a lot of memories with this United program, but you also get to kind of build yourself as a softball player in the summers with travel ball. Talk about that experience from you and what it's been like to go through the travel ball scene through in the summers.
I have played on a couple different travel teams for different organizations, and every single one of them was filled with lots of friends, encouraging energies, and then throughout the years, I've played with so many different girls. I just have so many different sets of friends throughout many different areas of the like not just the county, but the entire state.
Going through that, you get to meet a lot of different people from different places, maybe different life backgrounds, different kind of ways of thinking. What's that done for you as a person, do you think, being able to play with so many different girls through travel ball?
It really has helped me to open my eyes and see that not everybody lives the same in the other parts of the state than Little Columbiana County.
Does that make it easier to go to college knowing that like you've played with a lot of players before, so getting into a new team and meeting all these new people and playing with them isn't really going to be that hard for you?
I think that that really helps. I have a lot of bonds with a lot of different people, but I'm really looking forward to the new ones that are going to come.
You talked about the lifestyle in Little Columbiana County. What are you going to miss the most about the home and United and some of the ways that we do things up here in this area?
The biggest thing that I'm going to miss from down here is the community. We have so many different people that don't even have kids or family members on the United team that still come to every one of our games.
When you see people like that supporting you, obviously the community of United is like its own little world down there. How much has that given you throughout your career, and how much does that really help you guys as a team uh, do the best you can on the field?
It helps us to know that there are people that really look up to us, especially the little girls that are in the youth. We learn to play not only for ourselves, but for them too, watching.
We talked about things that are going to be easy for you when you go into college. What are some things that you're nervous about, maybe uneasy about how you're going to handle it, or maybe being on your own? What are some things that are giving you a little bit of those butterflies in the stomach?
Just the fact that I'm not gonna know everybody there.
What is the one life skill that maybe you haven't learned yet that your parents do a lot for you that you're going to have to learn pretty quickly when you live on your own in Hiram?
While I'm there on my own, my parents do a really good job of helping provide for me. And like, I currently don't work a job because of softball in the summer, but I will be this summer.
Well, you got what are you going to be doing? What's going to be the first job for Tori Firth?
I'm not actually sure yet.
What do you think are some skills that you can bring to the workplace? What are some skills outside of softball that you have that you can kind of sell yourself with when you're filling out an application?
I last year as a junior was inducted into NHS. So throughout the year, I've done 40 plus hours of community service through there. And then I'm also a member of the United chapter of Key Club, where I've done 10 hours throughout this year.
So basically, whoever hires you is getting a steal for the experience. When you get in college, you said you wanted to go what nursing, right?
Yes.
What drove you to wanting to go into that career path and wanting to be a nurse and to go through the medical field?
I have always enjoyed science classes the most growing up through school. And then my mom, when I was in kindergarten, went through nursing school, and it was really cool to see like how compassionate and caring she could be at work and just excel as a nurse.
Last question. You're about to graduate from United. It's not too long now. What are going to be some of your favorite memories, not just with softball, but just in this school system and being a part of the United, school and program?
I am involved through so many different clubs, and we've done so many things throughout the years that will always give me memories. But the best, I think, would probably be the bus rides to softball games.
Gotta love them. All right, Tori, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to shout out the people that are with you, shout out the people that are in your corner, and the people that you wouldn't be here without.
Obviously, my parents, they have done so much for me through providing and sacrificing so much for me to do softball throughout the years. My grandma is a bus driver at United, and she gives up a lot of her afternoon routes to take us to away games. All the coaches that have been in my corner throughout the years that have helped me be the person that I am, and then obviously the team as well for always being there for me.
All right, Tori, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate the time. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.